Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Amanda Lamb. In today's deep dive conversation with WRAL's Sarah Krueger, we're going to talk about recent violence near the campus of UNC Chapel Hill. Sarah, first of all, tell us about the recent shootings, where and when they happened, the status of the victims, and the investigations.
Yeah, so I think taking a look at the big picture first, 8 people have been shot in the town of Chapel Hill this year, and 4 of them were all shot at the same condo complex. So half of them all at the same complex called University Gardens, and that is very close to UNC, less than a mile from UNC. And looking at homicides in the town this year, they are up compared to the prior 2 years, but still the numbers are very small. Like I said, 8 people total shot this year. And one thing worth noting is that police have made arrests in all of the homicides. That is not often the case, but they have cleared 100% of them. So looking at the shootings, the most recent one was September 27th. And that one, there were actually 3 people shot in that incident. One of them was fatally shot. That was Michael Lee, 51 years old. And there was even a 4th person who was injured in that shooting. We're not clear exactly how. Police have just said that that person was injured in the chaos of the scene. And we do know that one of the people injured was a pregnant woman. That's something we found out from listening to the 911 calls from that incident. This happened around 6 p.m., so daylight hours. Talking to residents out there, they said, people were getting home from work around that time. There were people outside. There were kids playing outside. So just a really alarming time and place for this to happen. And then, like I mentioned, police have charged someone. That was Michael Henry. He's 29 years old. And just about a month before that September 27th shooting, I had been out at University Gardens for another homicide. That one was in August, where a 19-year-old was killed, Roselle Jenkins, and police arrested a 22-year-old, Anthony Holman, for that. As far as the status of the suspects and how that is going, they are all making their way through the court system. The suspects are all in custody.
So I know whenever there's violence near a college campus, an alert goes out. So I assume that did happen in these incidents. How does that impact the school community and how do people react? I mean, students, parents, faculty.
Yeah, they are really concerned. The ones I have spoken to, many have reached out to me very concerned. Chapel Hill has a reputation for being so quiet and so safe. And I think that is why these shootings have really shaken people. I have heard from multiple UNC parents about this. I've also seen multiple parents and community members email town council. I monitor those emails, and I've seen multiple emails expressing their concerns about this violence. And, hopefully with the arrests, people are maybe feeling a little bit of peace of mind now.
So tell me about the location, the University Gardens condominiums. I understand this is not a place where students live or even frequent. But again, that concern is the proximity to campus and the university. What are they saying about this? Are they warning students? Are they saying this is an isolated incident? Don't worry about it. Well, what are they saying?
Right. So, it's less than a mile from campus, and it's also really close to where a lot of students live. So if you drive around that area up by University Gardens, which is Pritchard Avenue extension area, just one street over, you can clearly tell the houses are home to a lot of students. We've seen the students out there on the porches when we've been out there reporting, or, with their bumper stickers or Carolina flags. Like, it's clear that there is a big student presence in that neighborhood. And I did look over the alert that UNC sent out to students about that most recent shooting where there were multiple people shot. And there is no specific guidance from the university about avoiding any certain areas. In my conversations previously with similar incidents with UNC, they have pointed out, like, this is a Chapel Hill police jurisdiction. It's not UNC police. We do know the two often work really closely together, though, those two police departments. I think it's hard for UNC to tell students not to go to that area because literally they are living, some of them, just a block away.
Gotcha. And, for those of us who have been here a long time, the death of the student Eve Carson is something that I think people in the UNC community will never forget. And so there's always this feeling of, well, we don't want to be complacent. We know crime happens near college campuses, but we don't want to be complacent. Is that kind of the feeling that you're getting from the community there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we've seen gun violence, in the US escalate in the last couple of years, and these pockets of areas where maybe people used to feel a lot safer, now everything is drawn into question. And I think that is the case with Chapel Hill as well. That I can only imagine as a parent, when you send your student away to college, you want their safety to really be paramount. And I think that's why parents have gotten so involved with this, and are, emailing town council and emailing UNC. They're telling me they're emailing UNC, really speaking up about this because Chapel Hill has that reputation of being so safe, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that incidents don't happen.
Absolutely. We'll be back after the break with Sarah Krueger when we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about concerns people have about escalating bad behavior on Chapel Hill's iconic Franklin Street. Welcome back to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm talking with WRAL's Sarah Krueger about growing violence near the UNC Chapel Hill campus. And Sarah, we've been talking about some recent shootings in the area, but we're going to switch gears for a moment and talk about another unrelated concern, and that's Franklin Street. What have people told you about some of the aggressive behavior and threats they've been experiencing there?
Yeah, so some really troubling things, particularly that women are experiencing. I have heard about this from UNC parents, from students, and from people who live and work on Franklin Street. They are saying that they are harassed to the point of being followed, being physically threatened. It may start out as aggressive panhandling in some cases, but then it goes much beyond that. Women are telling me that men have told them they are going to rape them, they are going to kill them. So, very uncomfortable and scary situations.
And let's back up for just a minute in case somebody doesn't really know what Franklin Street is all about. Set the scene for what Franklin Street is to Chapel Hill and also to the university.
Yeah, so Franklin Street is the quintessential cute street, with a lot of shops and restaurants, and it is right across from UNC's campus. It is, where students are all day, all night. It is really the hub of social life at UNC, and just a very historically charming area of the town of Chapel Hill.
So, a lot of businesses there. I mean, there's restaurants, there's stores, there's bars. Have they talked at all about how this situation is impacting not only their business, but their employees?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So a lot of the business owners are really united, coming together to try to find solutions for this. They are meeting in round tables. They've told me they've reached out to the town as well, just pleading for some help. It's not good for business if people don't feel safe. And so this is impacting them in that way of people more hesitant to come to Franklin Street. And it's also impacting them personally, their employees, their staff, themselves feeling the brunt of this harassment.
Absolutely. And I know in a lot of these situations, we are talking about people who are in the homeless community, who are down and out, especially since the pandemic. So it's a complex problem. And I know that's probably part of the issue of how do you handle the fact that you do have people who are in need, but yet you also have to keep people safe and feeling comfortable on Franklin Street.
Mm-hmm. And the town is very aware of those dynamics and what a complex issue this is. And so are the business owners and employees that I've spoken with as well. Really, everyone, struggling with what is the best way to handle this. I know the town does have what they call a street outreach team that is dedicated to helping people. So, not just removing them from Franklin Street, but really looking for some long-term holistic solutions. The mayor has told us that arresting people she knows is not the long-term answer. And the business owners told me, there are a lot of repeat offenders. They know them by name. And if they're arrested, and which sometimes they are arrested, they're just right back out on the street the next day. So it's not an easy fix. There are conversations happening among business owners about solutions. And in the meantime, Chapel Hill police told me they are also increasing patrols on Franklin Street. And, I asked UNC if they're getting involved, since this is such a concern for so many parents and students. And a spokesperson, said really this is the town's jurisdiction.
And I know in one of the stories that I read that you had done, you talked about, some of the people who work there carrying tasers and even talking about maybe wearing body cameras to catch these interactions that they can then show to police. So some kind of extreme measures there.
Yes, I was floored when I was doing this interview with the bar owner and one of his employees, and it was one of those things where the interview was basically over, and I was still chatting with them, and then all of a sudden they say, "Yeah, by the way, we got body cameras," and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay, hold on, we need to talk again on camera and record this." So yeah, a couple of people who work at a bar on Franklin Street, one is the owner, one is an employee, told me that they got body cameras and they are planning to record what happens when they walk down the street. And the idea is just to raise awareness. The employee told me she wants to post some of those videos on social media because she said, really people would be shocked and have no idea the kind of harassment that she endures. So I actually checked in with her just a couple of days ago to see if that has happened yet. And so far, I have not heard that it has, but I'll definitely be following that. And the owner of the bar told me that he bought a taser for protection after just having a number of incidents. He felt he needed to do more. And so that is what he did. And as far as students, they were telling me, measures they're taking, they do a buddy system. Some students telling me, they really don't feel comfortable walking along Franklin Street alone. And one UNC dad I talked to alluded to that as well. And he said his daughter, if she ever doesn't have a buddy walking down Franklin Street, she will call him just to have that added sense of safety, knowing that someone is on the other line.
Wow. So taking that pretty seriously. You're in a different stage of life. You have a baby, and I have a college student. And I will tell you, my daughter does go to college in a city, not Chapel Hill, but in a city. And it's nerve-wracking. It really is nerve-wracking. So overall, all of these incidents taken together, what's the feedback you're getting, especially from parents, about these situations?
Yeah, I think I'm hearing a hunger from parents, from students, from businesses for more action from the town, for more action from the university. They just feel like this has been ongoing for months now. And I know I have seen complaints to town officials for months now. And there's just a sense of whatever is being done is not enough because it is all still continuing. So I think, especially as we mentioned, for people in the UNC community, this is just a little bit foreign to them because Chapel Hill does have that reputation for being so safe, and so this just hits a little harder and shatters that sense of safety a bit.
Sarah, thank you so much for your time and insight into this topic, and thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download. You can also listen to entire WRAL newscasts in podcast form. Find WRAL News Daily in your podcast app. The feed is updated with new newscasts multiple times per day.